Okay, hello Mr. Grimes.
Hey, how you doing?
Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit first of all? So, your name is Mr. Grimes.
The Poet Warrior, that's me. I've been writing since I was 14, and it was basically an experimental thing when I was younger, and it got more serious, I would say towards the end of like the 2000s. I did an album with a producer called Junior Fuller, which was called A Battle Against the City of Madness. And I also did an EP with another producer who's an old school dude. He was in a rap group back in the day called Jason Ellis. He goes by the name Ronix, but he always changes his name, and I just, I can't keep up. But he's Ronix now. Trust me, he changed his name a lot. But he just did an EP for me, and I've done a few tracks of him in the past. I don't know if we're able to get some of those unreleased material that we've done due to a little accident that happened in the studio. But yeah, I've done mainly work with Junior and Jason Ellis, and obviously yourself now as well, recently.
That's right, you did some recording and we made an EP.
That's right, called The Steam, which came out last month. You can check that out on Soundcloud. So yeah, that was pretty great. It was unexpected because I mentioned before to a lot of people that I wasn't really getting back into music, but I thought it's good to balance out the poetry and a bit of sounds to make it a little bit different. I mean, the main focus is the poetry, and people can see that because currently right now I'm doing open mics, and I've been doing open mic since August last year, so it's going well. I think it's going well, and especially as it's come up to nearly a year now, and it's been a good process. I've had a few other interviews and stuff, so yeah, it's going well.
Why do you take the poetry route rather than a traditional, words to music? What made you decide that your words were poems rather than lyrics?
I just think because of the rhythm, the style of it, and going back to the days when I was Mr. Grimes the Anti-Hero, it was all about fitting in with the scene. I didn't like a lot of politics that was going on. It just didn't feel for me, and I just didn't want to go off into this direction where I didn't feel comfortable, and things weren't happening, things weren't going to manifest because of certain politics that was going on in the scene. So I took a little bit of a rest, and when I came back I thought, you know what, I feel like my stuff is more poetry rather than it trying to be fitting in with what's going on with rap right now. And if you look at rap, hip hop right now, especially in the mainstream, if you see the direction it's taken, it feels like it's very monochrome rather than it being all types of expressions. I'm not saying there's people out there that aren't trying to do something different, but there are people that are doing something different. Do you know what I'm saying?
It feels like, I don't know if you agree with this, it feels like it's kind of dumbing down and everything is built to be a club hit, and it's simple, and there's not much room for expression and depth in the words anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
And that wouldn't fit with what you're trying to do.
Exactly. So that's why I decided to take some steps back and just focus on what I really wanted to do. And obviously at the time, yeah, hip hop was what I wanted to do, but I just didn't feel like I was fitting in. And then when I came to be the Poet Warrior in 2013, I thought, screw fitting in, do my thing, and that's it, how I want to do it.
So is it partly about being self-sufficient in that you can be the Poet Warrior and you control everything? You don't have to rely on anyone to work with or people who can let you down. You can do everything yourself. Was it partly to do with that?
Yeah, that's right. And it feels like a better process for me because back in the day I was able to get like meetings with record labels. It was easy for me, I guess I had the gift of the gab, and I was able to, go to Sony, get a meeting. But to be honest, I just felt like they were very ignorant to the scene in the UK, and they didn't want to take much of a risk. So it was very hard to really, put stuff out through record labels. It wasn't a good look in my opinion. You're just running around in circles again and again and again, and that got frustrating because you meet a lot of time wasters. And I could go into so many stories, but Yeah, it's frustrating.
But the direction you're taking now, you're finding that's working for you, like at least on a personal level.
Yeah, on a personal level, it's
quite satisfying.
Yeah, because as I mentioned, I started doing this open mic thing in last year, August. In fact, the first place I went to, as I always mention, is Tri-Space Gallery. That wasn't really an open mic, but it was more of an event for different type of art forms to come together. It's pretty cool. And I actually thought that I'd probably be performing now and then. And I found one open mic and I said, okay, it's September now. I'll probably be only doing like maybe 3 or 4 more that year, towards the end of the year. And I ended up doing so much. It was unexpected. And the flow of how things have become now is really been consistent. So it's really good. And as you know, I've done the Hurlingham, I've done the Red Cow, the Railway Tavern, Bread and Roses, the Old Moot House as well in Kingston. So there's been quite a few. There's just to name some of the locations and places I've been to, but there's been quite a few places I've been to, so it's cool.
How do you find you're received? Because a lot of people will expect you go in there and you say, I'm going to read some poetry, and they'd expect, you know, Wordsworth or Shakespeare sonnets or something, and you deliver a very different experience, and then you have the mask and the image as well. How do you find that is received in that environment?
Majority of the time it can be positive, but you do get 1 or 2 people that are a bit unsure, and they do invade your space, you know, like they want to try and cause trouble, or they're unsure. And I don't know, it feels like with open mics, not all of them, I'm not saying all open mics, but with some of them, because people are used to the same kind of thing with musicians, that if someone dresses a bit different, they might be like, what's this? I'm unsure of this. Why is this taking place? And maybe some people might even get scared if they see someone in a mask because they think you're going to come and raid the place. I don't know. But I don't walk around in a venue with the mask on. I just put it on for the performance, and then that's it. So, and it should be people's common sense to see that it's part of what I do, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's something that you aren't sure if it's going to be an aggressive act until you start talking.
That's right.
That was possibly my experience. I wasn't sure what to expect. I saw you put on the mask. The first time I saw you, the mask came on, and you had you started reading, and then you have to read into the words, and not my preconceptions were that it could be something quite hate fueled possibly, or aggressive speaking, and it wasn't that at all from you. Yeah,
I think maybe people expect something extreme in some cases, so they're a bit unsure, they're a bit scared. But it just goes to show you that it's good to get people out of their comfort zone. Because like I said, with a lot of open mics, it may be the same thing all the time. Someone comes along and you'd be like, wow, what's that about? Why is she or he doing this type of thing? But it's there to stimulate a kind of like alternative thinking. Because we're kind of spoon-fed all the time about what to believe in, what to do, what to read, what to see, rather than getting out of our comfort zone. Most people, they are living for other people rather than themselves. So, yeah.
Is that the kind of thing that primarily inspires you then? Well, I mean, if you're going to write something, what would inspire you to write something down?
I mentioned before, it could be anything from the friggin' Matrix film to walking down in Brixton or Croydon. I might see someone or a particular scene that's going on outside. It might be with the police arguing with someone, and it just gives me that inspiration. Anything is possible, you know what I mean? It's not like I always say, right, it's going to be I don't know, always music. It could be music, it could be someone else's words. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, it could be like a train journey. It doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying?
So you basically try to immerse yourself in culture and walk around, and you write about what you see, what you feel.
Yeah, that's right.
About what's going on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of your words are, you express a discontent with society and sort of this kind of reality TV type. It's all blandness and it's kind of numbing.
Yeah, I do go into that a little bit of a rant. Sometimes maybe the poetry may come off as a rant, I hope not. But then again, you know, it's part of the style that I do, in the sense that I like to express what I want to say. And I think, especially in London, people are just scared to be themselves. And they may know something that is wrong, but they don't want to speak about it. They rather let someone else do it, and then that other person is letting someone else do it, and the solution doesn't get sorted out. Let's just say the problem doesn't get sorted out with the solution. So this is something that is worrying in my case, because I'm not saying that society will crash tomorrow, but I feel like it could be a possibility that, you know, we're not living right in how we want to live in this day and age, you know, because we're always worried about what other people think, and we're getting spoon-fed, as I mentioned before, with the same thing again and again. So, yeah.
So what would you hope to, if you could inspire any reaction out of somebody through your words, what would you hope to, what message would you hope to sort of get across to your listeners?
It's really just about inspiring them to break out of their shell. You know, it's not about me saying they've got to think this way, but it's like, for example, if you're working with someone, whether it be on a film or whatever it is, I have an idea, you have an idea, someone else has an idea, it all combines together to make that film. Do you get what I'm saying? So like I said, for our society to be better, you might have an idea, someone else has an idea, put it together, and we put that into effect to make things better. Do you get what I'm saying? We have to try different ideas. So this is about breaking the shell and not thinking that the world has to be a certain way all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get people to break out of a robotic sense of living where it's everything is the same routine, and kids are raised to think that, okay, I've got to do school, college, university, job, marriage, family.
Yeah.
Like your life's all mapped out. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think people are kind of scared to talk about this type of thing because they don't want to get burnt by, I don't know if it's the government or other people. But, you know, it's about expressing what you believe in. If you know that something is wrong, you know, speak out about it. I mean, not to get too personal, but even in my life as well, you know, I have a situation going on and I've had to speak about it to people, but it's like making me to be the one that's crazy, and I'm trying to give those people help. Do you get what I'm saying? So if we want, you know, healthcare services or, you know, whatever it is, law, we want a better service, we have to work towards a change, you know. And even if the system was to crash tomorrow, would a lot of people be able to cope? There may be a lot of people that can, but can they really cope? That's the question, you know. I guess they're going to have to. They're going to have no choice if it does crash. So this is the thing, you know, because people have relied so much on the system for a long time. So if it was to change tomorrow, are you able to deal with that change? Are you able to adapt?
Yeah. Yeah. Some powerful questions there. What are you working on at the moment, and what have you got coming up?
At the moment, I always like to keep things, you know, but it's just open mics as usual, and maybe more recording on poetry, maybe. So you have to stay tuned to more Mr. Grimes. That's what I always say.
Yeah. Find you on Facebook and Twitter and online.
That's right. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. If you just type in Mr. Grimes, the Poet Warrior, I'm there. On Twitter, Mr. Grimes Real. Facebook, Mr. Grimes Official. Oh, you can't miss me, you know. You can't miss me. It's still anti-hero because on Facebook you can't change it. I don't know what that's about. So you'll still be able to find me anyway, so it's not going to be difficult. Hopefully. You know.
Okay, great. And also we can catch you performing live around sort of southwest London, that kind of area. Yeah,
I mean, I'll try and go to other places as well, like north and east if I can, but I guess it is mainly South London, you know.
Cool.
So yeah, you can find me. I don't particularly always put a date on there. I just randomly go and do my thing, and that's how I like it to be, just random, you know.
Yeah.
And then you can catch up with the performances on the YouTube. So yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Cool. Any other questions?
I don't think so.
All right,
I'm
man.
all out. Unless there's another message, any message you'd like to leave us with.
All I gotta say is the year of the golden mask. This is the season of passion. F the beef, increase the peace. Mr. Grimes, I'm out.